Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Welcome back to our course English Literature of the 17th century. Inshallah, we are going to go through or to study together in our 13th lecture. This is our 13th lecture, as you can see on the screen. Today, inshallah, we are going to have a look at two acts together, the last two acts in our play All for Love by John Dryden. In the previous lecture, we already finished Act 3. Today, inshallah, in this lecture, we are going to finish two acts together and to finish this interesting play. And there will be inshallah the last lecture, which will be inshallah the 14th lecture. It will be a general revision on all the items that we have covered during this course, inshallah. So let's start together our lecture. It's, as you can see on the screen, a summary of Act 4. Dolabella entrusted by Antony with a task. If you still remember, at the end of Act 3, Ventidius planned to separate Antony from Cleopatra by bringing him an intimate, a close friend to him, Dolabella, and also bringing him his wife with her little two daughters. And at the end, they could reach a reconciliation. There is a reconciliation between Octavia, the wife of Antony, and also Antony. And Antony at the end decides to leave Cleopatra. So now in Act 4, we find that Antony wants to send a message with Dolabella, his friend, to Cleopatra, telling her that he will leave her, he will desert her. And because, as you know from the previous lecture, that he trusts Dolabella as a close friend, as a sincere friend, so he entrusted him with a task. So as you see, Dolabella entrusted by Antony with a task. What's this task? We will know from these coming lines. So Antony has now to inform Cleopatra about his decision to leave Alexandria in order to go with his wife and his daughters. So he needs to inform Cleopatra about his decision, that he is going to leave Alexandria, which means that he is going to leave her, to desert her completely in order to go with his wife and his two little daughters. He does not have the courage to face Cleopatra. He couldn't go himself to meet Cleopatra and to tell her his decision because he is afraid that once he is in front of Cleopatra, the one he loves, he might change his mind and he might not take the decision or change the decision that he has already made. So he does not have the courage to face Cleopatra and tell her of his new development, of his new decision. So he seeks the help of Dolabella in this matter. So he asks Dolabella to go instead of him to Cleopatra and to tell her about his Antony's decision. He tells Dolabella that he would like him to go to Cleopatra and tell her what has happened. Dolabella is at first most reluctant. Reluctant means refusing this task, to act as Antony's envoy or messenger. Antony, however, insists that Dolabella must carry out this task. So he insists that you are the right person, you are my friend, I'd like you to go and tell Cleopatra about my decision of leaving her. And Dolabella has then no alternative but to agree. At last, because of the insistence of Antony, that he has to go, that Dolabella has to go to meet Cleopatra and tell her about his decision, he agrees at the end to go to meet Cleopatra and tell her about his decision. Cleopatra, to try to arouse Antony's jealousy. So when she knows that Antony is going to leave, Cleopatra tries to find a plan to make Antony changing his decision and changing his mind about this. So she has a plan of arousing the jealousy of Antony. So Cleopatra has already come to know about Antony's decision to leave her and go away in the company of his wife. This information has already been conveyed to her by Alexis. Alexis is an advisor to Cleopatra. Alexis suggests to Cleopatra that in order to detain Antony, she should has fallen in love with Dolabella. So it was the idea of Alexis to arouse the jealousy of Antony by trying or by pretending that Cleopatra is in love with Dolabella, who is a close friend to Antony. And remember what we said last time, that Dolabella left Antony in the first place because Antony believes that Dolabella is in love with Cleopatra and he is jealous of him. So again, definitely when Antony knows this, he will remember this old story why Dolabella left because of his old love to Cleopatra. So they choose the right person to make that thing, that plan or that trick. So this information has already been conveyed to her by Alexis. Alexis suggests to Cleopatra that in order to detain Antony, in order to keep him, Antony, she should has fallen in love with Dolabella, says Alexis. Cleopatra is putting up only pretense. Of course, she is pretending and she is not in real love with Dolabella, but she is pretending, doing something which is not true and which is not real. So Cleopatra is putting up only pretense of being in love, with Dolabella. He takes Cleopatra's advances seriously, but Dolabella couldn't recognize, he could not know that Cleopatra is pretending and is acting that she's in love with him. But Dolabella, because he has an old love with her, he takes her advances and her words to him seriously. He thinks that Cleopatra really is in love with him, and of course this is not true. So he takes Cleopatra's advances seriously and tells her that Antony has sent her a message informing her about his decision to leave. So now he is doing his task of telling Cleopatra and Antony's decision to leave Alexandria. Okay, so now on hearing that Antony had spoken about her in harshest possible terms, Cleopatra feels so deeply hurt that she faints. She couldn't bear, she couldn't stand hearing that Antony spoke about her badly, so she fainted. When she recovers her senses, Dolabella apologizes to her and confesses that Antony had not spoken harshly about her at all, and he had invented that story only to promote his own chances with her. So Dolabella said that Antony spoke harshly about her in order to make her hate Antony and to be in love with him. I mean Dolabella. Thereupon, Cleopatra also confesses that she is not at all in love with Dolabella. Now she tells Dolabella, she is confessing to him, telling him the truth, that it was all just like a play. It is not a true story, that she is not in love with Dolabella, but she is just acting that she is in love with him, and that she had merely put up a pretense. It was only a pretense just to arouse Antony's jealousy. Cleopatra then requests Dolabella to arrange an interview. So she asks him to arrange a meeting between her and Antony so that she might be able to talk to him privately and draw some comfort from her talk when he is about to leave her. So as you can see that she is trying to arrange a meeting between her and Antony in order to say the last words to him before leaving. And of course, definitely she has another aim in her mind, which is, of course, she is trying to affect him, to convince him again to change his mind of leaving her. She says that Antony's departure from here would mean her death. So she believes that if Antony leaves her, she would die. Now, Ventidius had overheard, and of course you know quite well who is Ventidius. Ventidius had overheard Dolabella's soliloquy about the conflict which was going on in Dolabella's mind between his duty to his friend Antony and his desire to win Cleopatra's love. Now, when Antony has decided to leave her. So he has heard Dolabella's speaking loudly about that conflict inside him, about his desire to be in love with Cleopatra, and also his desire to his sincerity to his friend. Ventidius and Octavia then go to Antony. So Ventidius and Octavia, the wife of Antony, they go to Antony and report to him. They tell him that Cleopatra has already taken another lover in place of Antony. So they go directly and immediately to tell Antony that that he is no longer the lover of Cleopatra, because Cleopatra changed him with another lover who is Dolabella. Now Ventidius' motive in reporting the matter to Antony is to prejudice Antony against Cleopatra, so that Antony may give up Cleopatra forever and should not entertain the least idea of returning to her. Again, Ventidius is struggling hard to separate Antony from Cleopatra. So you can see he hates Cleopatra to a great extent, and all the time he is trying to take him away, to separate him from Cleopatra. So once he heard Dolabella speaking about this, he immediately goes to Antony to tell him about these new consequences, and to show him that Cleopatra is not sincere and is not loyal to him, and he has to leave her immediately without any hesitation because she has shown insincerity to him. Octavia's motive in reporting the matter to Antony is to find out the extent to which Antony may still be interested in Cleopatra. Now Octavia has another aim in her mind. She wants to know if really Antony is still in love with Cleopatra or not once he knows that Cleopatra has changed him with another lover. Okay. Antony now becomes furious, becomes very angry. He becomes very angry with Cleopatra and Dolabella for having played false with him. So he believes that Dolabella and Cleopatra, they deceive him. So that's why he becomes very angry, because he trusts Dolabella and he loves Cleopatra. So he was shocked to find the two that are close to his heart now deceiving him. Antony is now feeling enraged and has become antagonistic to both Cleopatra and Dolabella. He becomes against them, hating them. So he becomes antagonistic to both Cleopatra and Dolabella. He thinks that Dolabella has betrayed his trust and that Cleopatra has proved faithless to him. Again, why he is angry and why he is furious? Because he thinks that Dolabella has betrayed his trust and that Cleopatra has proved faithless to him. Octavia's departure. At the same time, there is another development. When Octavia, his wife, Antony's wife, finds that Antony is feeling furious at Cleopatra's inconstancy, she comes to the conclusion that Antony is continuing to feel interested in Cleopatra. Now, the wife has felt as a woman and as a wife that there is no hope, that Antony is still in love with Cleopatra, and that's why he becomes very furious when knowing that she is in love with Dolabella. So she felt that there is no hope, it's a hopeless case. She cannot get out the love of Cleopatra from the heart of Antony, and of course this hurts her self-respect as a wife and as a woman too much. So she says that she feels certain that Antony still prefers Cleopatra to her. So now she's sure that Antony prefers Cleopatra to her. She therefore bids him farewell. So she decides to leave. Now she is the one who is deciding to leave Antony, saying that she has given all hope. She lost all hope of him exclusively to herself. Octavia's departure has a depressing effect upon Antony, and also he feels that he should have been more tactful and should have hidden his real feelings about Cleopatra so as not to hurt Octavia. So her departure and her decision of leaving him made him depressed and made him sad, because he felt that he lost his wife, and of course consequently he is going to lose also his two little daughters. And he said that he has to be more tactful in hiding his feelings towards Cleopatra. Okay, Cleopatra and Dolabella, who have come to have a talk with Antony. So the two of them, they have come to have a talk with Antony. And of course, you know the case. Now, Cleopatra told Dolabella frankly that she is not in love with him. And she was just pretending that she is in love with him only to arouse the jealousy of Antony. And once they have reached this, they know that it was only a kind of acting. They decided, both of them, to go directly to Antony to tell him the truth. That there is nothing between the two, and that still Cleopatra is still in love with Antony. But of course, Antony has something else. Now he, as we said, he becomes very furious when he knows that there is something between the two, and of course this is not true. Cleopatra and Dolabella, who have come to have a talk with Antony, are astonished by Antony's reaction. Antony commands both of them to get out of his sight and never to meet him again. So he decides to dismiss them out of his presence and never come again to meet him, any one of them, either Dolabella or either Cleopatra, not to come to meet him again, because he believes that both of them are unfaithful to him and they betrayed him. Okay. On the verge of suicide, having been dismissed by Antony from his presence, Cleopatra is now feeling distraught. She is very depressed. She felt that she is lost because she believes that Antony accused her of being unfaithful and accused her of betrayal, while this is not true. Then she pulls out a dagger. She pulls out like a sword or a dagger or a knife, something like this, in order to stab herself, in order to kill herself, but is prevented from doing so by Charmian and Eras, two of the maids, who catch hold of her. They could see her before and prevent her before killing herself. And why Cleopatra is trying to kill herself? Because she feels that Antony does not need and does not love her any more, and she believes that he has a bad idea about her, and that she deceived him and she is not faithful and sincere to him. Okay. Now we are now moving, starting from this slide, from this page. We have already started Act 5. We finished Act 4, and now we have already started Act 5, which started with this trial and this attempt of Cleopatra to kill herself after being dismissed from Antony. Now let's move to the next page. Alexis then informs Cleopatra that Antony is at this moment standing on the top of the lighthouse and surveying the Egyptian ships which are about to engage in a battle with Octavius' fleet. So Alexis, who is an advisor of Cleopatra, has come very quickly to tell her about the place in which Antony is there right now at this moment. So he told her that at this moment Antony is standing on the top of the lighthouse and surveying the Egyptian ships which are about to engage in a battle with Octavius' fleet. Okay, now Cleopatra's rebuke to Alexis for his readiness to betray Antony. Serapion, the priest, comes in great haste and informs Cleopatra that the Egyptian ships, which were expected to attack Octavius' fleet, had surrendered to Octavius without a fight, and in fact joined Octavius' navy. Serapion says that if Antony finds Cleopatra anywhere, he would shrink from killing her on the spot. He then advises Cleopatra to hide herself in her monument till the situation clears up. So some news reached Antony that Cleopatra might be the reason for this surrender of the Egyptian ships to Octavius. So at this moment he decides to kill Cleopatra. Antony decides to kill Cleopatra because he felt that she is really the main reason for his destruction. She becomes even more angry with Alexis when he asks her if she should go to Octavius and negotiate peace with him on her behalf. So Alexis, who is not sincere to anyone, he believes that Cleopatra should go now to Octavius and negotiate peace with him on her behalf, because he sees that Octavius will win the battle against Antony. Alexis tells Antony that Cleopatra could not bear. So Alexis tells Antony that Cleopatra could not bear to be accused by Antony of treachery, of betrayal, and that therefore she had shot herself inside her monument where she had stabbed herself. So Alexis, who is the main reason for all the problems that are happening because of his all these bad ideas and bad thoughts that he has every now and then, he tells Antony, and of course it doesn't happen this way, it never happens this way, he tells Antony that Cleopatra could not bear to be accused by Antony of treachery, and that therefore she had shot herself inside her monument where she had stabbed herself using a dagger, means killing herself. Of course, this does not happen, but it was just an idea of Alexis, just to make Antony feels again kind to Cleopatra and goes and try to ask her not to be angry and all these things. So he told wrongly to he told Antony that Cleopatra committed suicide while she is at her Antony. So Antony, now convinced of Cleopatra's innocence, now he at last, Antony, got the truth that she is innocent and she is not the reason for the surrender of the Egyptian ships to Octavius, and she did nothing bad to him. So having been told by Alexis that Cleopatra has put an end to her life, Antony feels deeply grieved, deeply sad and depressed. He now begins to lament. He now begins to lament Cleopatra's death. He becomes so sad and lamenting her, and regards himself as the murderer of that innocent woman. So he blames himself for thinking that he is the cause of her suicide and of her death. So he starts to blame himself for being, he believes that he is the main reason for what Cleopatra did. And of course, until this moment, Cleopatra did not commit suicide, but it was just something told by Alexis about this. So this news, which Antony got from Alexis, made him deeply grieved, as you can see on the screen. He now begins to lament Cleopatra's death and regards himself as the murderer, as the killer of that innocent woman. Now the world seems to be empty to him, which means that he feels that Cleopatra is the whole world to him. Once she is not there, he feels that the whole world, the world is empty to him. Now he wants to put an end to his life. He wants to put an end to his life without having to fight. So because he believes that that Cleopatra is dead, so he decides also to put an end to his life by committing suicide, the same as Cleopatra did. And of course, we are, as Muslims, we are against this idea of putting an end to our lives or of committing any kind of suicide, because life is a gift from Allah, and no one has the right to put an end to his life. So we are against, of course, this idea of committing suicide or putting ends to our lives. So now he wants to put an end to his life without having to fight. Ventidius says that in case Antony has decided to put an end to his life, he, Ventidius, would like to die also. So Ventidius, who loves Antony to the most and is quite sincere and loyal to him, he told Antony that if you decide to commit suicide, I'll do the same also, because I cannot also live without you. Ventidius' suicide. So that's why we call this play is a tragic play. It's a tragedy because of all these deaths that will happen at the end of this play. So Ventidius' suicide. Antony now makes a peculiar request to Ventidius. So Antony asks Ventidius a favor, to do him something, peculiar request to Ventidius. What's his request? What he asks? He wants Ventidius to kill him with his sword. So he told him, I want you, Ventidius, to kill me with your sword. While Antony gets ready to be killed by Ventidius, so Ventidius pretends that he agrees to do this, to kill Antony. While Antony gets ready to be killed by Ventidius, Ventidius draws his sword. He takes out his sword and stabs himself. Instead of stabbing Antony, he stabs himself instead of Antony. Why? Because he cannot do this to his friend, and he becomes sure that Antony will kill himself. So he could not bear that moment, seeing his close friend and his intimate friend dying in front of his eyes. So he decides to die before him. So look to what extent he loves him. So while Antony gets ready to be killed by Ventidius, Ventidius draws his sword and stabs himself. Then Antony, wanting to kill himself, falls on his sword. However, Antony is not killed immediately. So he falls on, he holds his sword and falls on the sword, and but he did not die immediately at that time. Antony fully reconciled with Cleopatra before dying. Cleopatra, having learned that Alexis had given to Antony a false report of her death, and this is what we have known, that Alexis, he told Antony some false news, some false report of her death, comes in great haste to meet Antony before he performs any rash action. So she knows that Antony loves her and he might commit suicide. So she went very quickly to see Antony before committing any rash action. She comes with Chairman and Eras and finds Antony dying. When she comes, she finds her lover, Antony, dying in front of her. Cleopatra says that she would prove her faithfulness to him by a deed and not by words. No, now she is seeing her lover in his last moments dying in front of her. So she tells him that I will prove to you in deed and in action and not in words that I am so faithful and so sincere to you. She tells him that she would die with him. She's not going to surrender to Octavius's proud authority, nor would she allow him to take her prisoner and parade her in the streets of Rome. She then opens the basket in which lies the asp. Asp is like a snake, like a serpent. She has a basket in which there is a snake or an asp or a serpent, as you call it, that she then stretches out her arm and gets bitten by the asp. She prefers to die by being bitten by a snake or by asp, saying that she would not allow Octavius to capture her alive. Okay, Cleopatra says that she can already feel the fatal poison of the serpent flowing through her veins. So after being bitten by the serpent, she felt that the poison of the serpent is spreading all over her body. Then saying that Octavius can now do his worst, she dies. So we find at the end of the play, we find Ventidius dies, we find also Antony, and we find also Cleopatra. The three of them died, and of course that's why we call it a tragedy, because of all these deaths that happened at the end. Now let's move to samples of the questions that you might have on Act 4 and Act 5. Having been dismissed by Antony from his presence, Cleopatra is now feeling, so after being dismissed from the presence of Antony, she feels what? Happy? distraught, delighted, or afraid. Of course, the right or the correct answer is letter B, which is she is feeling distraught, which means that she feels that she is lost. Okay, let's move to another question here. Anthony now makes a peculiar request to Ventidius. His request to Ventidius, that one that we have just mentioned, he wants Ventidius to kill him with his. So he asks Ventidius to kill him with his what? His gun, his pistol, his sword, or his hands. Of course, if you still remember the scene, Anthony asks Ventidius to kill him with his sword, of course, but Ventidius did not do this, and he stabbed himself instead of stabbing or killing Anthony. Okay, this is the end of our lecture, the 13th lecture. Thank you very much. All the best to all of you. We still have one lecture left, which will be inshallah the 14th lecture. It will be summing up of all the points that we have already covered till now. Please study hard. Inshallah, your exam will be quite easy if you study hard all the materials that we have already covered. Best of luck to all of you. I'd like you all, inshallah, to get high marks in this course. Thank you very much again, and inshallah, seeing you in next lecture. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.